Is there something that you want to do, but you don't feel like you have enough time for it? Well, guess what? You have the same amount of time as everyone else. And yes, that phrase is so annoying, and I know it's been said so many times in a really condescending way, but it's actually also true. And well, I guess I probably shouldn't start off a video with a really annoying phrase that probably puts you off. So you might have clicked cancel by now, but if you're still here, thank you. And let me explain why I actually think this phrase is fair. So yes, everyone is in a different situation and there's different reasons why they can't take on something. But saying I don't have the time is not usually actually accurate. You have the time, but you're just not prioritizing that thing. I'm sure if someone asked you to go on an all expenses paid trip to Bahamas, you'll somehow find the time, right? But yet somehow you don't have a couple of hours to spend on something else. So it's literally about how you prioritize. Now, I do a lot of things. As I said before, probably too many things. People always criticize me, but there's always something that I really want to take on, like this new YouTube channel, for example. So the question I get asked the most is, how do you find the time to do so many things? Because most people run a business and they're already stressed with just doing that, but I seem to do a lot of different things on top of it, and I'm still doing all of them and I absolutely love it, and I don't feel that stressed most of the time. And so I really wanted to do a video on how I'm able to cover and do so many things and what my productivity tips are to get more done. So first of all, I probably should tell you a bunch of the things that I do, so you've got a bit of context to see how my day-to-day looks or what my duties are. So I run an entrepreneur members club called NOBS, which stands for No Bullshit, and in that, it entails me looking for new members, looking for new partners, having tons and tons of meetings, running events, running workshops, tons of stuff for the members. So obviously that's a full-time job in itself. But on top of that, I still have my creative agency, which we're running in-house for the club. And so we're working with clients, running campaigns, doing a lot of content and that sort of stuff, which again is another full-time job. And then I run 2 podcasts. So one is a video podcast called No Bullshit Talks. I have left the link in the description below, so you can go check that out on YouTube. It's also on Spotify and all the other places. And a audio-only podcast called Sniffing Out the Bullshit. I have a newsletter and create content for social media every single day, pretty much. So that's again excessive, but I feel like I need to be on social media all the time for my job. And on top of this, I'm the curator for TEDx Shoreditch, and I run a minimum of 2 big events per year for the brand, which means involving finding speakers, obviously running the big events. And then I'm also a professional chess coach. I used to play professionally, but I retired around 7 years ago, and I've been coaching now ever since, both adults and children. So I teach in schools, I do private lessons, I run events, and I do that for about 15 hours a week still. And so, yeah, I don't play chess anymore, but so I kind of migrated to playing poker instead. And so recently, this is very new, I've been traveling around the world playing poker, which is super fun. But that takes up a lot of time too. Okay, so what else? I'm studying for a doctorate in entrepreneurship actually, which kind of complements what I'm doing. So I'm currently researching what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, looking for traits and characteristics and commonalities and see what's most likely to lead to success. I'm a published author and I'm in the middle of writing my next book. I started a writing habit, so I write now 1,000 words a day minimum, and obviously I'm on a roll and that goes up loads, so that's been great. And then I started a reading habit too, so I now read for an average of 45 minutes per day. So I think that covers most of what I do with my time, and you can see that I'm quite busy, but at the same time I'm still getting a lot of stuff done. I just want to preface by saying there's some sort of badge of honor with entrepreneurship that being busy is a good thing, and I have to say that I actually hate being busy. I think some people try to be busy because it makes them look smarter or more successful or something, and so busy is not what I want to be. It's productive. There's a big difference, and so I'm still working on some of my processes. I feel like I'm still struggling with a few things, and there's still things I want to improve. There always are, but I do still get a lot done, and most people comment on this, so that's why I want to share some of the ways. So here are my 5 ways. So first of all, know your goals. Now, as I said, it's about priorities, not time. Many business owners are actually parents, right? So they are always saying that they don't have the time to do X, Y, Z because they've got to look after their kids. Now again, they have the same amount of time, but they're prioritizing their kids, completely understandably, right? But if you keep saying that you don't have the time, you are never gonna make the time. And if something's on a priority right now, that's completely okay, but you're gonna have to figure out what is priority. I think that goal setting can actually be really dangerous, and I've done a couple of podcasts on this, and again, I'll drop those in the links. So I think that, you need to rethink how that works. And I think if you definitely need to know your destination, because if you don't know your destination, how on earth are you going to get there? So bear in mind, I don't just mean the lofty goals that you need to know. I mean even daily goals. Like I've seen people even do hourly goals, right? You need to plan out what you want to achieve in order to be able to achieve them. Otherwise it can just get so overwhelming. I don't know about you, but when I'm running a business, I always have a gazillion things to do. My to-do list literally never gets shorter, only longer, annoyingly. So if I'm not completely clear as to what I'm supposed to be doing in every single moment, then I could just sit there and procrastinate all day. And I have done that, and I'm sure you've done that too. Therefore, what I do is I decide that what I'm gonna do, I wanna achieve each quarter. So I create quarterly goals, and then I break these down into monthly goals, weekly goals, and then daily goals. So I can see every single day if I'm on target to reach my big quarterly lofty goals. Now, each of those daily goals should relate to something you're trying to do it in a quarter. And I think I see lots of people basically go, I must do this today, I must do this. And I'm like, does that actually help you on your path to your quarterly goals? If it doesn't, move that out of your to-do list. So your daily goals should be like mini steps to help you on your quarterly goals. So, having a planning system is essential. And I think there's a ton of videos out there already. You can search them. I think, the most common is like the Eisenhower matrix. It's been featured in pretty much most productivity books and other business books. And do you know what? I've just never really liked it. I find matrices quite messy and complicated. So I decided to make my own. And again, like I said, you don't have to follow mine, but I just do something that's much simpler, just because it suits me. But whatever you need to do, have a planning system. I'm gonna do a separate video on my planning system and break it down for those who do want to do it. But top line is the planning system spells out, not accidentally, plan. So P stands for priority. What are you prioritizing that day, week, month, however long you're doing plan for. L means later. So what do you do after you've done all the priority things? A means after that. And N is nice to get to. So you work your way through them in priority order, and you don't allow yourself to go to the L's until you've completed all of the P's, unless something drastically changes. So whatever your planning system is, stick to it. That's mine. And if you want to know more, I will do another video on it. So my most productive work environment is actually on a plane. This is actually where I planned these videos and next week's videos and just a ton of social media content. And I'm just so focused when I'm on a plane. And do you know why? Because I'm offline. I don't get distracted by all those emails and messages coming in and people asking me for a million things. And if something pops into my head, like it always does, I don't think, oh, I must do that now and I must look something up, because I don't have the ability to do that when I'm offline. I just have headphones on, I've got some calming music in the background to help drown out the crying babies on the plane, and I just write. And it's magical. So of course, I don't go on a plane every single time I need to concentrate, because that would be uber expensive and mighty terrible for the environment. So I also need to find a way to remove distractions while I'm at home. I'm a massive Apple product user. Literally everything I own is Apple. So I'm a big fan of their different focus settings, and you could customize this as you want. So I'll use Gone Dark, and basically it switches off everything else, and I only leave phone calls from my partner and my parents on there, which is like emergencies. My partner doesn't call me all the time unless it's an emergency, so I do that, and everything else is just off. And so I do this for deep work sessions, and I used to get really worried that say someone in my team or someone would need me and I need to apply, and if I don't apply for a couple of hours, then I'm gonna cause them problems. But actually, it does more harm than good when you just when you're just there to reply to them all the time. And actually, since I've been doing this, I've been able to give myself a bit of distance, let them solve more problems and let them grow as a result. So it's just been win-win. So this, being able to work with no interruptions has been a game changer. I schedule in a deep work session every single day and have my most important task in my plan list in there, and I don't finish that. I don't stop the deep work session until I finish that. Game changer. Okay, so other than making your environment like distraction free, you need to make everything else about it your vibe, like whatever that looks like. So everyone's gonna be completely different, right? So for me, there are a few things that I need for a completely productive session. One of those is a drink on my desk. Like it's usually coffee in the morning, sometimes a tea or like some orange squash or something in the afternoon. Got a tea right now. I always feel like I'm just so much more productive with a drink in my hand. And then some Post-its and a pen. Now, the drink is my fuel for the session, so to speak, and then my Post-its and the pen are to write all those random thoughts that pop into my head, because there are so many of them, and I get super distracted with my thoughts, even if no one else is around. So I need to like write them down quickly before I forget about them, and then I get annoyed with myself if I don't remember them. So I do that and then quickly do it so I don't let it disrupt my flow too much. People might say that's a pattern interrupt and people don't like that, but I know that I'll be thinking about it a lot if I don't write them down. So I quickly and it has to be Post-its because I put one, stamp it, stamp it. And then I know that after that deep work session, I can tend to each one of those Post-its and check them off my list. And it just creates distraction away from my head, which works for me. So I actually prefer a really quiet work environment, no music. I have to be at a desk, really nice, spacious desk, and it has to be a warm room. And so that's different to a lot of people, because I know that some people can't work in silence. People have to have something on. And if you want music, that's absolutely fine. Do what you want to do. If you prefer working on your sofa, again, that's fine. I'm sure some posture experts will have a field day on that. But again, if you need to do what you need to do to be productive, you know what's right for you. And if you don't know what's right for you, then I would look back at all those times when you were at your most productive, have a think of what sort of environment did you have, and just try to recreate that for the next time. So I don't get anything done unless I put it in the calendar. Like, if it's not in the calendar, it's not happening. Even my social stuff has to go in the calendar. I literally have Walk Bella, my dog, in the calendar each day. Poor girl. So, I have to put it in there to be able to schedule my day. And even if you're not someone who uses a calendar, then getting one is still beneficial, or just writing it out like a daily calendar. Because each day now, I actually plan out what I'm doing each hour, because I feel like even if I have a to-do list, what order do I do that to-do list in? And I do it, but then I get distracted, so I block it out, and I block in, lunchtime, lunch breaks, and like time away from my computer, and just some me time, and I block all that out each day, so I just feel a bit more organised. Also, this time blocking method is so helpful because for those who are victims of procrastination, instead of sitting there and just like thinking, or making excuses, you know exactly what you need to do during which time. It reduces decision fatigue, and it's absolutely amazing if you have ADHD as well. So I would highly recommend time blocking methods and doing this. I've also been putting in non-negotiable wellness time in my calendar, so I'm not overworking. Like I said, I'll put some me time in there. It forces me to take breaks regularly, fit in some exercise in my schedule, and have a much more balanced and less stressful day. I can also see, which tasks take a bit longer than they usually do, and I work out how to improve my efficiency in those tasks. So that's, I've even scheduled in time to record these videos, and I've got gym time after this, so I'm off to the gym, actually, hence the reason why I'm in gym clothes. So yeah, that's me. So these are the methods that I use every single day to whiz me through my to-do list. And there are also tons of great productivity books out there that list a load more ideas, and I can drop some of those recommendations in the show notes too. If anyone has any questions on any of these methods or any feedback, I'd love to hear it, so please do drop me a line. And as usual, if you do find this video helpful, please like and subscribe below, and I will see you in the next video.